I've got this rated with the Utah Jazz being significant favorites over the Raptors. Raptors have played awesome. Like, I've upgraded them significantly for adding Emmanuel Quickley and RJ Barrett. They're playing awesome. Raptors are in a bad spot. They're at the end of a West Coast road trip. They're going to altitude. When you're at the end of those road trips, what you don't want to do is you don't want to go to altitude. Now, Toronto's tough as nails, and that makes me nervous here. But the market is not catching up on where Utah is, even by having them lay 2.5. Like, they are laying that. What this essentially is saying, because 2.5 is the average kind of differential this season in terms of home court advantage. If you take every team's net rating, the average, and then subtract that, or I'm sorry, take their home net rating and then subtract that from their overall, the difference is 2.5 points. And that's been the case over the last 3 seasons. If you give the Jazz average home court, this is a pick'em in this spot. And I think that underrates where Utah's at in terms of how well they've played. 8-2 in their last 10 straight up. They've played phenomenal basketball. They are also terrific at home, and they are especially terrific when they are actually as good or better than the opponent, which they are definitely in the Raptors tier. Even with the upgrades that Toronto has made, Utah is in this tier. So I will go ahead and now lay the 2.5 with the Utah Jazz at home here.
I love this scheduling spot too for Utah to cover this number. Let's talk about the minutia and the things that don't get spoken about too much when we come to a spot. We talk about the end of the road trips all the time, but this is very unique with the Raptors coming off the mega rant and the free throw game against the Lakers. They feel like they should have won that game, right? The league is against them, the world is against them, everybody's against them. They're not getting any whistles. Then they bring all that anger and play a really close, tough game against the Clippers. Clippers don't cover the number. If you backed the Raptors off of that rant, you got the W. Now, they got to be running on fumes. And they're going to altitude. And this is the final game of the road trip. And when they get home, they have to play Boston. This is the spot that would be a little tough to get up for. They got up for the Lakers and got screwed. Then they got up because they were angry that they got screwed against the Clippers. No travel there. They got to stay in LA, which was nice. Now it's the final game of the road trip, and that's before they have to go home and play Boston. This would be a tough game for them to get up. And yes, similar to what I believe in the Spurs the last few games here. It's a short sample size, but 4 games they played well. I laid out the teams that they played. Those are some solid teams here in the NBA, especially with Ja in Memphis and how he was playing. Utah has been lights out recently. I backed Philadelphia against them, even with Embiid out. I thought it was a really good spot for Philly to get a win. Lauri Markkanen came out and played lights out. They're putting it together a little bit in Utah, similar to last year when they put together a really good stretch in the middle of the year. We're like, oh, maybe this team is actually really solid, and then the wheels started to fall off towards the end of the year. We know Markkanen was an all-star in that spot. So yeah, I like this spot. Tough to get up for this game going to Utah, where Utah plays their best basketball at home.